Morning, colleagues. Yeah, time is actually not on our side as well. I'm gonna do this presentation for about 10 minutes so that I allow the EPWP colleagues to also do their part of the presentation. In terms of this presentation, we are going to look at the background, the introductions, the legislations, the processing of tenders below 500,000 and above 500,000. What are the critical conditions in terms of preparation of bids? Important information for noting that will introduce to you what is new in the department and how we are dealing with it. And then the contact details in terms of how, if you want to make any inquiries within the department. As one would know in terms of the background, that the department plays a very integral role within the public sector, and its mandate is to provide infrastructure, property, and accommodation facilities for all government department or client department. And these are our entities, which is CIDB, CBE, IDT, and Agrima. And the department is very much procurement intensive, and it executes its SCM functions in a strict compliance with the legislative frameworks that govern the public sector. Therefore, we would not be doing anything that is outside those particular legislative requirements. DPW has a very serious zero tolerance for procurement or any deviation, unless such deviation can actually stand the acid test of law and are defendable and very justifiable. In terms of the introduction, it is enshrined in the constitutions and the PFMA that all procurement must be fair, equitable, transparent, cost-effective, and competitive. And this is what we actually ensure that we do in all of our procurements. The department is committed to the service delivery, and as such, service provider community, we value the service provider community for the role it plays within the department. It is therefore very critical that we develop that relationship, stakeholder relationship that will assist in achieving the service delivery. And this particular relationship must ensure the following: providing of quality goods and services. Nobody would want to be receiving any inferior quality from anyone. Solving discrepancies expeditiously where they exist, and the joint effort in making sure that we pay within 30 days, and there is a role of the department and there's a role of a service provider in that regard. Provide ability to proactively communicate with those that are not winning these bids, and collaborate with the department in eradicating the scourge of fraud and corruption, as you know that we are actually having this particular challenge within the country. What we do in terms of the legislations, we abide to the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa, the PFMA, the National Treasury Regulations, the Triple PFA, which is the current amended one, which is the Preferential Procurement Regulation 2017, the BE Act, and the CIDB Act. In terms of the process for tenders below 500,000, the department actually do this or solicit quotations through a central supplier database. As we all know that Treasury have introduced the central supplier database. Therefore, it is imperative that service providers in actual fact make sure that they register in that particular central supplier database. As a department, we no longer have a database since the introduction of the CSD. And you need to ensure that you update your information from time to time, simply because when we do quotations or when we want to contact the service providers, we have a challenge that their emails have changed, their cell phone numbers have changed, and we are able to actually get to them. Once the registration and information integrity has been verified, we actually source your suppliers from the database to respond for any formal written request for quotations. And those quotations, we are clear when we are sending them, when to send them, how they should be received, the closing date and the time, and the address as well. Quotations are evaluated for compliance to specification, norms, and conditions, and the recommendation will then be awarded if you actually comply with all of what we have said you should. SCM will usually issue a formal letter or purchase order to the approved service providers. Therefore, there's no way that somebody can tell you that they are having a purchase order with you without having to have done any code for the department. And that particular purchase order is considered as a formal contract between the two parties. Once delivery is made, a supplier must ensure that their purchase order reconciles with the delivery note, the goods and services rendered, and the invoice. Then the payment will be done within 30 days. We are delayed of doing payment within 30 days because sometimes our service providers are not coming to the party in terms of ensuring that they submit everything on time. And no supplier will be requested to pay any amount to the department's official for a quotation to be awarded, or even for a purchase order or an invoice to be processed. DPW does not invite quotations via SMS or WhatsApp messages, and the service providers are employed to verify all of the purchase orders, noting what is actually happening in the country in terms of service providers being defrauded. The above 500,000 colleagues, I think we all know that Treasury is busy with increasing this particular threshold. It was supposed to have started by now. It is postponed up until August. So for now, we are still utilizing the 500 below and above. For the 500 above 500,000, we follow the competitive public tender participation process, and we advertise all of our tenders in the government tender bulletin, National Treasury e-portal, departmental website, and the CIDB tender system. Currently, we are mostly utilizing the departmental website and the CIDB tender system because of the challenges that we are having with GTB and the National Treasury e-portal. And then we avail the documents and hold briefing sessions where necessary. I think we are saying where necessary because of the pandemic currently. Provide assistance in terms of the queries that anybody can have. Bidders must ensure that their submissions are deposited in the correct tender box before the closing date and time at the right address. So it is very much important to make sure that you read through all of those particular instructions. Otherwise, without that, then you'll end up being disqualified. Bidders' responses are actually evaluated by the bid evaluation committee, and they are adjudicated by the bid adjudication committee, so that there's no individuals who is actually awarding tenders within the department. The bid adjudication committee will adjudicate and recommend the bidder and award on condition that you have actually conformed to all of the requirements that we have set. Then we will issue an appointment letter or a purchase order. And once the delivery is made, then we will then have to follow the same reconciliation that I've said before of making sure that we pay within 30 days. The critical key things that you should know is that the cost and man hours spent, the closing date and address, which may result in the late submission. So whenever you tender with the department, you need to make sure that you go through all of those administration requirements, the specification requirement, your accounting costing, accurate costing, and then your duly complete signed prescribed standard document. Other important for noting is that there are new changes. They are no longer new for now, but I'll still share them as new. One would be that we are utilizing the CSD for everything, and then we are also ensuring that whoever that we award within the department is registered with the department with the CSD. And then we are now utilizing the Preferential Procurement Regulation 2017 with regards to the designated groups. I'll talk to it just now in terms of the 30% mandatory subcontracting. The other thing that colleagues must know is that we have a panel for built environment consultants that we are utilizing within the department. And all open tenders will be published in our website, as I've already said it. And no service will be rendered without any of the official purchase orders. Suppliers are reminded of the fraudulent order scams that have been reported. So make sure that you verify whatever that you are actually receiving. DPW will not be liable for such fraudulent transactions. And we have the contact details in our website where you can verify all of these particular purchase orders. In terms of the preferential procurement, as a department, we have decreed that all tenders below 10 million will only give them to service providers who have a triple B level 1 and 2 and who are actual EMEs or QSE. And then for anything above 10 million to 30 million, we are going to award only tenders that are triple B level 1 to 2. And now for anything above 30 million to 50 million, we will then award service providers who are triple B level 1 to 3. But that must then go together with the mandatory subcontracting for anything that is above 30 million. Now, the department fully complies with the particular prescript of the PPR 2017, and it actually ensures that the mandatory subcontracting to the designated groups are actually done within for all tenders that are above 30 million. It must be noted that the department role is to provide a list from the CSD for bidders to choose from for subcontractors to make up to the 30% allocation. It is not prescriptive as to how many subcontractors must be choosing, but the 30% allocation must be met. The department, in providing the list, ensures potential subcontractors on the list are selected from the within the close proximity of the project. The department focuses on designated group and is mainly towards businesses that are 51% Black, that are women, youth, and people with disabilities. What we have done as the department colleagues is that we have ensured that in our circulars, in our procurement plans, or in our demand plan, we have decreed that we need to ensure that our awards goes to, or we actually give preference when we are doing your subcontracting to women, youth, and people living with disabilities. And every time when we go out on tender that is above 30 million, we do that particular conditions in terms of subcontracting and ensure that those particular 3 designated groups are actually preferred where possible, depending as to whether that particular commodity has a number of those particular service providers. I think my first part is done. I've just exceeded my time with 1 minute. It's just around 11 minutes. But for any inquiries, make sure that we have our help desk. You can phone Mr. Simon Motau. You can also contact me. You can also contact the 1439 for purchase orders, or you can just visit our website for any other more information. Thank you. Let me give to our EPWP colleagues. Thanks.
So we for Vukupile contract for the Vukupile program, we target contractors to be at level 11 or standard 9, construction experience, numeracy and literacy, and local resident of an area where we're implementing the program. Typically, we're targeting 50% women, we're targeting 50% youth, and 2% person with disabilities. You would have to be, the company
recording
would have
in progress.
Registered on the CIDB register, and then you would also have to be on the CSD as well. And you'd have to have, your company would have to be registered with the CIPC. So those are the requirements in terms of being on the Vukupile program.
Recording stopped.
The next program we have is the National Youth Service Program, where we train youth in artisan trades, and we target youth from the ages from 18 to 35. And this program is implemented by the Department of Public Works and Infrastructure at a national level and provincial departments of public works as well. The program offers accredited skills training. It's normally for a period of 1 year minimum. And we train youth on projects that are implemented by the department. So typically every project would put aside at least 5% of their budget for training. And the objective is to address socio-economic imperatives, give young people work experience with the improved opportunities for absorption by the labor market. Also, it improves their construction skills as well. We also have some soft skills training that we do, which would be character building during the induction, so that we also have those soft skills for the youth as well. So typically would target youth with grade 12 with mathematics and science, youth who have artisan training requirement. For artisan training, you would need to have N2 in civil or electrical. And then you would need to have numeracy and literacy and be a local resident of the area where the project is being implemented. Typically, they then would also appoint training service providers to provide actual training, and this would be subcontracted by the general contractor on a project. The next program is the large projects program. I think I went over that. The large projects program looks at projects with a value of more than 30 million. And we train in these projects, we normally have a large contractor and SMMEs as well. So typically, like Mr. Korobaka said, any project over 30 million, there has to be subcontracting. So we'd have SMMEs, and typically we can target youth SMMEs as well to be part of these large projects and to implement the projects labor intensively. So that's also one of the programs we have. So in conclusion, the EPWP has opportunities for youth to participate through the Contractor Development Program, which is the Vocupile program. You can also participate through the Large Projects Program. You could also participate in terms of being a participant on a project. And then in terms of contact details, we've also provided that if somebody needs more contact details, they can email the